What if the thing you've been calling your weakness is actually the last honest part of you left standing? Stay with me for the next few minutes. Not the kind of minutes where you're half listening while your thumb hovers over the next video, the next notification, the next thing pulling you away. Give me your full attention, just this once, because what I'm about to say might be the one thing you've needed to hear and haven't let yourself hear yet. Here's where I want to start. Somewhere along the way, you learned to perform being okay so well that you forgot to check whether you actually were. You got good at the nod, the "I'm fine," the smile that shows up on command. And the world rewarded you for it, so you kept doing it, layer after layer, until the performance became so smooth that even you stopped being able to tell where it ended and the real version of you began. I want to gently pull on that thread today, because I think it's time. Let's talk about the myth of having it together. You probably know at least one person who seems to have their whole life figured out, the career, the relationship, the routine, the calm. And you've probably measured yourself against that image more times than you'd like to admit. Here's the truth nobody tells you: nobody has it together. Not really. Everyone is improvising. Everyone is quietly patching things up behind the scenes while presenting a finished product to the world. The person you're comparing yourself to is doing the exact same thing you are, managing a mess just out of frame. Once you understand that, the pressure to look flawless starts to loosen its grip, because you realize you were never actually behind. You were just comparing your backstage to everyone else's front stage. I want to talk about the difference between resting and giving up, because I think we've confused the two so thoroughly that even the idea of slowing down triggers guilt. Somewhere in your upbringing, in your culture, in the quiet expectations passed down through generations, you absorbed the idea that stopping means failing. That if you're not moving, you're falling behind. But a body that never rests breaks down. A mind that never rests grows dull and reactive instead of sharp and intentional. Rest isn't the opposite of ambition. It's what makes ambition sustainable. The version of you that takes a real breath today is not weaker than the version that grinds through exhaustion. They're just playing a longer game. I want to talk about the specific loneliness of being the strong one. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're the person everyone calls when their world is falling apart, the one who always has an answer, a plan, a steady voice on the other end of the line. And maybe somewhere in becoming that person, you quietly signed an unspoken contract that said your own struggles don't get to take up space, because everyone else is relying on your stability. I want to release you from that contract right now, in this moment. You are allowed to not have the answer. You are allowed to call someone else for once. You are allowed to say, honestly, I don't know how to hold this by myself, without that being some kind of betrayal of the role you've built. Strength that never rests eventually becomes exhaustion wearing a mask, and the people who truly love you would rather see your real face than the mask, even if the real face is tired. I want to talk about the fear of being a burden, because I think it might be one of the quietest, most destructive fears a person can carry. It convinces you to shrink your needs down to almost nothing. It convinces you to apologize for taking up space, for asking for help, for having a bad day in front of someone else. But think about the people you love. When they come to you struggling, do you see them as a burden? Or do you feel closer to them, trusted by them, honored that they let you see the real thing instead of the performance? That's probably how the people who love you feel too, when you finally let them see you struggling. You are not a burden for having needs. You are a person, and people have needs. That's not a flaw in the design. That's the design. I want to talk about effort that hasn't paid off yet. Maybe you've been working towards something, a goal, a version of yourself, a dream you haven't said out loud to very many people, and the results haven't shown up. Maybe some mornings it feels like you're pouring effort into a well with no bottom, watching it disappear without any proof it mattered. I want you to know that effort is not wasted just because it hasn't been converted into a visible outcome yet. The discipline you're building right now, the character you're forming in the unglamorous middle of the process, that is not nothing. That is, in fact, the actual substance of who you're becoming. Outcomes are often just effort that has had enough time to compound. Don't mistake not yet for never. I want to talk about disappointing people, because I think fear of disappointment secretly runs more of our lives than we're willing to admit. We shape our words, our choices, sometimes our entire identities around avoiding that uncomfortable moment where someone looks at us and feels let down. But disappointing someone is not the same as harming them. It simply means their expectation and your reality didn't line up, and that mismatch is not automatically yours to fix by folding yourself smaller to fit inside it. The people capable of loving the real, unpolished, imperfect version of you will stay, even if it takes them a moment to adjust. And the people who can only love the performance, who need you to stay small and predictable to remain comfortable themselves, are showing you something true about that relationship, something worth seeing clearly instead of managing around forever. I want to talk about the version of you that exists when no one else is around. Not the version answering messages, showing up to obligations, keeping the wheels turning for everyone else. The quieter one. The one that only comes out in silence, in the car alone, in the few minutes before sleep when the noise of the day finally fades. That version of you deserves to be checked in on too. So here's something simple you can actually use. Once a day, ask yourself honestly, how am I actually doing right now? Not how you're supposed to be doing. Not how it would look to someone watching. Just the real, unfiltered answer. You don't have to fix whatever comes up. You just have to know it. Knowing it is the doorway back to yourself. I want to talk about the pressure to have your whole life figured out, because I think it's crushing more people quietly than almost anything else. Not just your career, but the deeper question underneath it, who you are, what you're building toward, whether you're doing this whole life thing right. Here's something worth remembering. Nobody arrives at a finished, permanent identity and simply stops there. Growth doesn't have a graduation date. It continues for as long as you're alive, which means the uncertainty sitting in your chest right now is not proof that something has gone wrong with you. It's proof that you're still in motion. Still becoming. That's not a flaw. That's simply what being alive looks like, for every single person, at every single age, whether they admit it or not. Think about how differently you treat other people compared to how you treat yourself. If a friend told you they felt lost, uncertain about their direction, still figuring things out at their age, would you tell them they don't deserve peace until they've sorted it all out? You wouldn't. You'd remind them that everyone is figuring it out as they go, that uncertainty is part of being human, not evidence of failure. I want you to borrow that same patience and turn it inward, right now, today. You've been generous with everyone else's uncertainty. It's time to be generous with your own. I want to remind you of something you already know but might have forgotten under the weight of everything current. You have survived every hard season that has already happened to you. Every single time you were sure something would break you, it didn't. Every time doubt whispered that this was finally the thing you couldn't come back from, you came back from it anyway. That is not a coincidence. That is a track record, and it belongs to you. It doesn't guarantee the road ahead will be easy, but it does prove something concrete. You are far more capable than the tired, anxious part of your mind usually gives you credit for. Carry that proof with you. Let it sit quietly in the background as evidence, next time doubt tries to convince you otherwise. I want to talk about ordinary days, because most of a life is actually built from them. Not the dramatic turning points, not the highlight reel moments, but the long, unremarkable stretches where nothing seems to be happening. If your life feels quiet right now, uneventful, like you're just going through the motions without some grand transformation underway, I want you to trust that ordinary days, repeated with care and consistency, are exactly how meaningful lives are actually built. Nobody looks back on their life and sees only the highlight reel. They see the quiet accumulation of small, unremarkable choices that eventually added up to something real. Before I close, I want to leave you with something small and doable. Not a life overhaul. Just one thing, today. Maybe it's speaking to yourself with a little more patience the next time you make a mistake. Maybe it's finally saying the honest thing you've been holding back from someone who deserves to hear it. Maybe it's simply letting yourself rest for 10 minutes without needing to earn it first. Whatever it is, keep it small and real, because a single honest choice, repeated enough times, is how an entire relationship with yourself begins to change. Not all at once. Gently. One decision at a time. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too far gone to become who you actually want to be. You are simply here, in the middle of your own becoming, and that alone is enough. If today ends up being hard, if the old doubts creep back in before this has a chance to settle, come back to this. It doesn't expire after one listen. You're allowed to return to it as many times as you need, for as long as you need reminding. So take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. Whatever the rest of today holds, walk into it a little more gently than you walked into yesterday, trusting that you are enough, exactly as you are, right now, in this ordinary, unrepeatable moment. You made it to this last line. Some part of you already knew you needed to hear this today.